Warning: the following film contains adult language, dark humor, portrayal of a dead body, an image of mass destruction, mentions of racism, Islamophobia, and anti-Semitism, discussion of human rights violations on a large corporate scale, and an extremely unlikable narrator. This is a work of satire. Though all claims have been carefully researched, nothing stated should be taken as an absolute fact.
Hi guys, a lot of you were asking me to do another Shein haul, so I thought I would do a quick one right before school.
Shein in Pakistan.
And today I have for y'all another Shein haul.
So today we're gonna be doing a little Shein haul. I've never shopped from Shein before.
Unbox. I have a massive fall haul. Y'all see these packages? I love the packaging. Hot pink. Okay, work.
247. A Shein story. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Probably because you aren't wearing Shein. The hottest, newest, trendiest, and cheapest clothing retailer our modern world has seen. At Shein, our mission is to make up-to-the-minute fast fashion accessible to everyone, or at least that's what we say on our socials. We also say that we're committed to building a more equitable and sustainable future, which is why the publicly available supplier code of conduct on our website is actually just a screenshot of the document, meaning that none of it can be copy and pasted, and if you're reliant on a screen reader because of a disability, good luck. Because fuck blind people, right? Unless they buy from Shein. We even have a sustainability page on sheingroup.com, just so eco-conscious liberals feel a little bit better about supporting our mega corporation while they look over their shoulder at the tote bag they bought off Amazon that says buy local. After all, we're everywhere. Isn't that local enough for you? At Shein, we believe that a person's clothing should always reflect their values. I hate the earth. But let's get serious for a second. While you're on your phone scrolling through Shein to update your wardrobe, I'm making millions off the work of underpaid, undervalued people, mostly women, and almost none of them were presented with an official contract, meaning we have no legal obligation to treat them as employees. So make sure you buy a few Shein brand baby tees that say girl power on the tits. Show those women who really matter. Let's not be so cynical though. We care about our workers and the environment. Take our second-hand platform, for example. That's right, our clothes might barely last through a second wash, but you could resell the ones that do on Shein Exchange. You know, theoretically. As Greta Thunberg said in an Instagram post, the fashion industry is a huge contributor to the climate and ecological emergency, not to mention its impact on the countless workers and communities who are being exploited around the world in order for some to enjoy fast fashion that many treat as disposables. We at Shein are going to fix this industry. The proof is on our website. A whole 14 of our nebulous hundreds of factories are undergoing industrial waste recycling programs, not to mention that 11% of fibers used for Shein branded products consist of recycled polyester and forest-safe viscose. By 2030, we plan to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 25%, and we're even going to transfer to using recycled polyester for 31% of the total polyester required for our products. Now, these all might seem like really small steps for a mega corporation to be making during a climate crisis, and that's because we're only saying them to ward off criticism and attract more customers. As Jamie Margolin says in her book Youth to Power, no matter what else they do, a company's #1 purpose is to sell products. Everything else is strategy around building a brand to increase those sales. Actual sustainability may not sell, but the concept of it does. In a way, the charts and statistics on our sustainability page are just as much a product as this blessed grandma t-shirt. We're selling the image of environmental and social consciousness. All it will cost is your ethics. Happiness, now only $10.99. When visiting our headquarters in Guangzhou, China, insipid reporters often expected to find that we use slave labor in our factories, but even Public Eye was forced to concede that a person can make decent money working at Shein, so long as you're basically willing to work 2 full-time jobs at once. After all, we at Shein like to resist conformity by offering no basic wage or overtime premiums. proud to have our slaves, valued members of our Shein family, work 11-hour days, starting at 8 a.m. sharp and ending as late as 10:30 p.m. But don't worry about it. They still get like 1 or 2 days off per month. Seriously, stop thinking about it. Stop it. Stop. Reporting live. Valued member of Shein family dies of natural causes. Let's take a personal look at one of our happy workers. Like this woman. I don't know her name because I've never actually met her and she's not white, so like, who cares? But I do know that she works at 75-hour weeks in a room with barred windows, making approximately 47 US cents per item of clothing she produces. And that makes me feel great. On a Wednesday in April of 2013, an 8-story building known as the Rana Plaza factory in Bangladesh collapsed, burying hundreds of workers alive, killing upwards of 1,000 people, and causing an international uproar as the global north was forced to look at what goes on behind the scenes of their fast fashion shopping sprees. The factory was said to supply brands around the world, including JCPenney, The Children's Place, and Walmart in the US. According to sources like cleanclothes.org and the True Cost documentary, large structural cracks in the Rana Plaza building had been visible for days, but pressure from management had forced workers to continue with business as usual, despite the obvious health and safety violations doing so posed. See, this is who you could be supporting instead of Shein. Unlike our competitors, we don't get caught with our blatant lack of ethics. Dressed to kill, Shein garment workers face 75-hour weeks in fire traps. You'll be happy to know that our Shein warehouse, which we like to call Ambo, is open 24/7, 365 days a year, meaning that you can get our latest trendy styles sort of quickly. We employ like 10,000 happy workers here in Ambo, which is owned by the American company Prologis and is located in Foshan, about an hour's drive away from the factories in Guangzhou for maximum convenience. Ambo employees typically work 12-hour days, though the number can go up to 14 during the high season, and most work between 24 and 28 days per month. Working this much, you can make an attractive salary at about 7,000 Chinese yuan or 967 USD per month. See, kids, all it takes is a little bit of elbow grease and you can pull yourself out by the bootstraps working even the shittiest jobs. A common myth among the general public is that our platform and the clothing that we sell exists purely to give lower income people access to trending styles, and protesting against our company would make you a classist bitch. The funny thing about that idea is that our actual primary customer demographic is women around 35 with annual incomes of about $63,000. Note that the 2024 US poverty line is set at about $31,000 per year for a 4-person household. The vast majority of our shoppers could absolutely afford to buy somewhere else, maybe even buy less and prioritize sustainable and ethical brands with products that are built to last longer. Buying from Shein is a choice, not a necessity. But that's okay though. We encourage our customers to blame poor people for their $500 Shein hauls. After all, you really just have to say that there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, and then it magically becomes totally fine for you to stop trying to be a better person. A struggling student or single parent buying a couple items from us for a job interview because it's all they can afford is totally exactly the same as you spending your $100 monthly clothes budget revamping your entire wardrobe with pretty AI-generated polyester styles under our new In tab. Because didn't you know that we release about 2,000 new styles every single day? Pour one out for the planet. All right. My favorite thing about Shein clothes is that they're so cheap, I don't have to worry about ruining them. I can just buy more. We believe in transparency here at Shein, and that means telling you when we mess up, even if the response is totally overdramatic and stupid. We're human too. In June of 2020, our platform sadly made headlines when we innocently, accidentally began selling Muslim prayer rugs under the title of frilled Greek carpets. Even though it was obviously just a little oops, people like the journalism student Khadija Rizvi were outraged that we would so callously exploit the holy objects and imagery of a religious group, since, of course, several of our carpets were decorated with pictures of the Kaaba, a real building incredibly sacred to Muslims around the world. Later that month, we were canceled once again, this time for selling necklaces with swastika pendants. Of course, course, we were really trying to appropriate the Buddhist swastika symbol, which symbolizes the path to enlightenment. However, since that symbol was openly appropriated by the Nazi regime, people got offended and accused us of promoting hatred. It's not our fault that people were offended by a symbol that, to the uninformed eye, looks nearly the same as one used to horrifically oppress Jewish people. We're innocent. So go right ahead. Buy those trendy new shorts and fuck it, get a pair in every color available. Add 10 dresses and pants and shoes and pair it all with a bucket of jewelry. Just keep piling it up and you'll still only be paying like $350, which in a good week of working about 75 hours could also be your whole weekly salary at a shein factory, at least as far as the average dedicated 20-year-old researcher could pin down. Just for context, the US federal minimum wage as of December 2024 is $7.25 per hour, meaning that in the US, the government mandated minimum amount a person should make from 75 hours of work is $543.75, almost $200 more than you'd make working at a shein factory or warehouse. And that extra money goes right in my pocket. Buy from Shein. I dare you! That's incredible. We really got something here. Let's get fucked up.